I'm going to show you how I figured out how to make a panda. We're going to do all the steps together. I'll show you starting, I'll show you changing colors, and on the head, I'll show you adding the drawstring. Then we're going to put it all together. And the trick here is that we're doing black for the legs, then we're doing white for the body, then we're doing black for the arms. We're going to be doing white. Almost all of it is going to be white for the head, except for the last few rounds where we're going to do the ears, and we will be tucking inside and pulling up the ears like that, so that we end up with white on the top of the head and black ears poking out. I think it's going to be magical. Let's get started doing this. Starting off, what do we need? We need black yarn, white yarn, a darning needle, I like the bent tip kind, and some of the clippy stitch markers, a pair of scissors, and anything you want to decorate your bear with, your panda. If you want ribbon, or if you want felt to make patches for the black eyes, go for it. If you want to use the safety eyes, grab some of those. And now I'm going to bring in the 46 needle Addy Express king size. We're going to make 2 tubes that are 120 rounds long and 1 tube that is 76 rounds long. We will be putting a drawstring in the middle of that at 38 rounds. And that's all the knitting that we'll have to do. Then it's just assembly. I'm going to do 35 rounds with my black, 40 rounds with the white, and then 45 rounds with the black at the top end. That way, the white is going to come down the legs a little bit, so it'll be black with a bit of white still on the leg parts. The body is going to be white with a bit of black right at the very top, so that there's the black band that's going across the shoulders, and then the arms will be black. Then for the head, I'm going to do 65 rounds of white and then do 11 rounds of black. And that's going to be for the top of the head and the ears. We are at needle number 1, and I'm going to just cast on back and forth all the way around. And we're back around. We're going to open up this little door here and slip the yarn into the keeper. I hold my yarn in my hand and do all of my tensioning with my hand. I'm not resetting the counter yet. I'm going to go 1 time around and then reset my counter, because I call casting on the back and forth and once around. That's what I call my cast on round. And we're all the way around. We're going to reset the counter. And I'm going to do 35 rounds of black. Then I'll show you switching to the white. $35. All right, we've gone all the way around to number 35. I am going to be leaving about an 8-inch piece, cutting it off. Grabbing the white yarn. I am laying it on here crossways with on the black needle. That's just how I join. There might be better ways, and if you've got a better way to join your yarn, please let me know. It's not because when we flatten the tube out, I'm going to make sure that the joins are on the inside, so you'll never see where it was joined. Now, start cranking along here. I am going to go around 3 times, and then I'm going to tie this loosely with a knot. Now I'm going to tug just a little bit and tie a knot. Now I'm going to continue on cranking along until I'm at 75, when I'm going to do the exact same thing, but put black back on. 75, I'm going to cut my yarn, cross it on that same needle that the white just came off of. So I have the two pieces of yarn going down, but only one in the holder here. And now I'm going to go around about 3 times and then tie this in a knot and finish at 120 rounds. I'm at 75 right now. All right, we're coming up on 120 right now. I'm going to finish that last stitch, take off some yarn, and pick up all of the stitches all the way around. I'm doing that by using a bent tip darning needle. Let that run around just to where this needle is coming up. And now I'm going to pick up the loops off of the machine. Now, if you pull too hard, the loops will just pop right off. So I like to put my finger down on the next stitch when I'm first starting to go around. And I always put my finger back down when I'm pulling the yarn through the loops. But as you get going farther around, you can pick up more stitches. And as long as you're not being really hard with, pulling hard, you can actually run it through, several stitches. See, I can go like this. I can pick up a whole bunch of stitches, but I do put my finger back down when I'm pulling on the yarn through the loops. I don't have to put my finger down now when I am just picking up, because there's enough slack going around. I will show you how to finish the ends right away, but you don't have to. You can run all of your pieces out and finish them at the end all together at the same time. I'm just doing it so I can get the recording done, and then I can focus on the fun stuff. This is fun too, but this is the let's get it made so that we can sculpt our panda. This is the quickest and easiest way I have found to making stuffed toys, so stuffed dolls. You see how this is all just sort of ridgy and all of that? I'm going to go like this and pop. And now you can see we have the starting of our panda. And I'm going to draw a string, both ends closed, and tie them off, just like a hat. Right now, this is exactly like how you would be making a hat, but it is going to change. We're going to be doing some other steps. So here we are. We've got it all nice and neat. Draw string down. There's a bit of a hole showing up. Take my bent needle, darning needle, thread the yarn that came off the end that we pulled on to make the drawstring. And then we're going to go through all of those last loops that are riding on that drawstring. We're just going to go all the way around, just like this, all the way around. So do you like this better without the music? On the brown teddy bear that's linked up above, I accidentally forgot to remove a piece of music, and it was kind of loud and it was over the top of my voice. And that I apologize for. Sometimes I get excited about getting a video up, so I'm not putting any music on this one at all. If there's any points where I'm just speeding up, if I am not talking while it's going on, I'll just put the clickety-clack noise all sped up. That's the sound from the knitting machine. There. I'm going to leave the ends. I'm not cutting off any long ends, but you can see what's going to happen here is that is going to end up being a leg or a paw. That will be the body, and then the other end will be closed up and done exactly the same way. Now, I'm going to look and find where my join was, because there's a tiny little jog. Tiny little jog where the join is. You see that right here? Little jog and a little jog. Now, that's not a big deal, and if it doesn't bother you at all, don't worry about it. But I'm going to put that to the inside, and I'm going to be folding my tube, matching up my stripes, and I've already closed this other end here. Make sure that it's nice and flattened out, because this is where the hand and the arm and the foot. Now, the arm is going to be coming down and getting flipped inside out like this, and the body is going to be like that. How cool! Isn't that going to be neat? Get the other side of this made and the head tube. And I'll show you how to do the tube for the head next. For the head is 76 rounds total, however you want to break it up. I'm breaking it up in this way. I'm going to knit 38 rounds, put a drawstring in. That's going to be the base of the head, down at the neck. Then I'm going to finish my white at 63 rounds. We're going to cut and add black. And then we will be finishing the black with 13 more rounds. That's going to give us a total of 76 rounds for the whole head. Then we're going to drawstring the ends in. It's really easy. It's just like making a beanie hat or a baby. Cast on just like normal. I've got 38 rounds on here now. I'm going to take a piece of yarn that is the same color as my main yarn. To an actual drawstring, I always use the same color yarn as the working yarn. You want to make sure that your yarn is big enough to go around at least 1.5 times. That makes it so for sure you don't have to worry about how long you leave this tail. What you're going to do is take the end and tuck it under the first black needle. You're going to drop it into the holder here, through the hole, and then you're going to hold both pieces of yarn together at the same time. And you're going to crank all the way around back to the first black needle. All the way around back to the first black needle. You are going to then take the end of your yarn here and just drop it down to the inside. Close your keeper. You want to take these two ends and loosely granny knot them so that you have something to hold on to. And you are going to pull on your yarn, on your knitting here just a little bit. Find one of the spots where the yarn is coming out and tuck that little granny knot through and pull the tails to the outside of your yarn. So now, or outside of your tube. So now I can take out that little granny knot. It doesn't need to be there anymore. Okay, we can continue on now. I'm at 63 rounds now, so I am going to cut this off, leaving a tail. Grab my black yarn, cross it underneath that black needle, pull down and put the yarn into the keeper. We're going to do 12 more rounds. And I will do the same thing as I did on the body parts. After a couple rounds, I'll tie this in a knot so that way it's not going to slip out. I'm not going to show you that this time. You already know how to do it. I'm at 76 rounds. I am going to use my needle, pick up the stitches all the way around. I will drawstring the ends closed just like we did before on the body parts, and I will come back here when I have all of the pieces sitting out in front of me and the knitting machine put away, and we will start assembling our pieces. All right, I lied. I'm back. After you get both of your tube ends closed, you're going to want to go to that drawstring line, and you're just going to tuck inside and run your needle through and to the outside of the top of the head. Okay? That's all you're doing. And you're going to pull them down tight and tie them together. The end from the black end, the end from the white end. Tie them tight. Like that. And now you're going to run your white yarn all the way through, back to the inside. It's already tied off. Just shove that yarn in here. It can just live in there forever. And we're not going to do anything with that drawstring yet, okay? Here are the three pieces: the head, the right, and the left side of the body. I want to have the head done before I sew it to the body. I'm going to grab some stuffing. So this is just polyfill, and I'm going to put stuffing inside the head, just like that. I don't want the head stuffed hard, just like with this bear here. It's a soft and squishy, nice and easy to mold it along. So I like to kind of narrow the top of the head down just a little bit just by molding it. But we're going to make ears just like this brown bear, but they're going to be black. If you were putting your eyes in, now is the time to go ahead and put them on. Your eyes are really quite wide apart, and if you wanted to put felt patches on for the spots around the eyes, go ahead and take your felt, cut them, pop little holes, put your eyes in, and attach the little keepers to the back. My little panda is not going to have the plastic eyes, but I might stitch on some black felt. We'll see at the end. That's going to be the bump up the cute factor. So stick around and see if I bump up the cute factor by putting black patches where the eyes go. I am feeling this and going tiny bit more stuffing, just a bit, just like this. And now I'm going to grab the end here and pull this down, just like this. Work those edges in. This is where the neck of the bear is, and it's going to be attached. Pandas don't tend to have that much of a neck showing. They're more like all together into the back. So like that. I think actually I'm going to try stuffing a couple more little bits of stuffing in down here on the bottom part. Felt a little bit thin. That's why you don't tighten that hole all the way down tight. You leave it. That gives you the opportunity to be able to wedge a little bit more stuffing in if you need it. And I do. Like that. Now we've got this part of his head. We are going to do his ears. And what I'm going to do for his ears is just pick a side, and I'm going to come to the edge, and I'm going to put one of those little stitch markers. And then I want to make sure that I'm going directly opposite by my eye. So, you know, it might not be perfectly opposite, but it's pretty darn close. So to make the ears, what you're going to do is you're going to squish the head down flat from the top. So you can see the whole disc here. You're going to pull up the front edge here where the black and the white meet, and you're going to pull up the edge back here where the black and the white meet. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. So 8 and 8. That's what I'm going to do. And then this one over here, from this point, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's good. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's almost right. Needed to go over one more. There we go. So we're going to stitch across right here, the top of the head, with white. We're going to take our needle and our yarn, like this. We're going to go through those 2 legs right there, leave the tail hanging out. And we're going to go, let's see, I want that on the other side there. Just get that round. And then I'm going to go through the 2 legs that I went through right here. All right. Now, when I come back and start stitching the next set, I'm going to go through the leg on the left and pick up a leg next to it. Just like that. Then I'm going to go to the back, and I'm going to pick up the leg on the left, right here, and the one next to it. And because this is where the seam was, I'm going down to the next row to pick up that next leg. And I am going to get this out of my way, because now the ends, now those ends are connected. Then I'm going to come back here, and this is the loop that it came through. I'm going to go through the left side and then pick up a right side. So I've got a V on my needle here. And I'm going to go to the back one, and I'm going to go through the left side and then pick up the right side. The left side and the right side. There we go. We're just going to go back and forth, slowly working our way across. So we're going to pick up from the stitch that we went through and pick up the next one over. It's a little confusing. If you want to just do a whip stitch across, be my guest. Go right ahead. I'm seeing if this will work. You know, this is every time I do something, it's an experiment. So through the left side of the stitch, through the right side of a stitch. You end up with 2 legs of a stitch on your needle every time you go across. Like that. Through the left side, pick up the other. Through the left side and pick up the next one. Going back and forth. That one to pick up that one. It makes sense to my brain. It may not make sense to yours. Please do what makes sense to you. You know, my way is the way it works for me. but that doesn't mean it will be the way it works for you. But I want it to be a nice, consistent stitch. Whatever you do, just make it consistent so it looks the same every time you do the stitch. Okay, I'm down to the last stitches. So this kind of thing happens sometimes. When I was getting down to the end here, I have like two more legs to pick up on this side, and my yarn is really short. So I'm going to need to kind of work this lacing across. And that's actually a good thing because you don't want to just grab a hold of it and pull. It's not going to give you the evenness that you want here. So what I'm going to do is go across, and I'm just finding, so I can pull on this one and then the next one and just work it across, kind of like lacing shoes, where you go and you find where the loose part is and you just work it across your shoe. You're just going to work your way across a couple times, pulling these ends in, or pulling these sides in, and you can start to see how this crossways stitching, like I was showing you, is starting to look just like the other stitches. I think it's pretty cool. But I will work across a couple times, not all in one go, to get this down tighter. Just looking to see where that end is. Where did that end go? There it is. It's right over here. So like that. See, you just keep working it across. Back and forth. Work it across. You know, this just adds a little bit more mindfulness to your project. That's all it is. We're just working some more mindfulness into our day. So I came out there. I'm going to come down here, pick up this one, go back up, go through the left leg, and then through a right leg or another leg. And that is as far as I need to go. Now I need to tighten this up again. So I will do that. Okay. I don't know where this little white line or white piece came from. The extra one that I had right there. I don't know. But I do know that I was just tying it off together with that other one. I'm going to make sure that that's nice and snug. We're going to run through a couple times deep and come out in the white. I'm going to go deep again, going through the black, coming out in the white, like that. And then I'm going to just sort of stitch around and make it so that it's not obvious where this came from. Okay, so now I can smush this. I'm going to take those two little ends and put them through the inside, yarn coming out through the bottom. And now we have the ears. And look at this. We are going to be able to stitch these little ears so quick and easy. Look at this little panda. Oh my gosh. This is turning out to be absolutely adorable. Mattress stitch the legs, the body, and then flip it over and do the other side of the body, and then come back and show you how to do the arms. It's all exactly the same as the way I did my brown bear. So the cute little brown bear here. Look at that. The little bits of stitching to sort of firm up where the ears are, that's just going to be stitching across with black and kind of stitching between where the white is right on the edge and where the white is right on the edge, matching up the back and the front. But I don't want to put the eyes on yet, or the patches on yet, because I don't know, this side might look cuter. So I have to figure it out. But first off, I am going to do a quick little lesson on mattress stitch on one of the legs right here. Mattress stitch is super easy. I'm only going to do about 10 stitches, and then I'm going to cut you loose and let you do whatever you want to do. Right here, I am finding two columns that are near each other, one on the front, the piece that's closest to me, one on the back, the piece that's farther away, where the stitches are lined up. And what I mean by that is the V right here and the V right here are pointing the same direction. I like to work on ones that are pointing to the right. Could be because I'm right-handed. I don't know. But then I want to keep it matched up. And what I'll do is every few stitches, I will take my clippy stitch markers and I will find my column, the same column that's pointing that way, and find the same column that's pointing that way and link them up together. And I will do that a couple times going down the row here, or up the column like that. Because what happens is these columns end up rolling and looking like they're in the wrong place. But if you mark it every few stitches, even if the column rolls over a little bit, you can straighten it up and you can see. So now I've threaded my needle. This is the yarn that's coming off the end of the toe. And I'm going to go and the very first one, I'm just going to feed straight across all those little legs just to get that stitch marked and secure. Now what I'm going to do is I put my fingers in between so I can see the pointy V going that way and the pointy V going that way. And I'm going to go in and pick up a bar between the legs of the stitch. And now look at this. This one is already rolling in. I'm going to go between the legs of the stitch and pick up a bar. Come back to the front. Pick up the legs, the bar between the legs of the stitch and between the legs of the stitch. What this does is it creates a stitch that is invisible. It looks like it was knit as a tube right as you did it. Because black is kind of hard to see. It's kind of hard for me to see too. But what I'm going to do now is just, see, I'm putting my finger right here. These are back and forth stitches like that. But if I pull, And look at that. You can't even see it. The two sides of that stitch come together and they look like one stitch. I'm going to get the legs stitched. I'm going to go ahead and get the back or front stitched, and then I'll flip it over, and when I get to the white on the other side, I will show you doing a little mattress stitching on the other side. Really quick, going to show you how to do that mattress stitch on the white yarn, because, you know, it was a little hard to see it on the black. I am going to try and match up, and it looks like my closest columns are going to be ones where the point is actually going the other direction. So I'm going to do it with the open end of the V is going to the right this time. So picking up that middle and picking up that middle bar. And I'm just going to go back and picking up that middle bar in each column. Back and forth. Easy peasy. And that really is all a mattress stitch is. It's matching up the direction of the column and then picking up the bar that's in the middle. See, right here, I've got both sides of that stitch and picking up the bar that's in the middle of that stitch. And I'm just going to do a couple more stitches. So right here, picking up that bar right between, right here, picking up that bar in the middle, come back, pick up that bar in the middle. Just go back and forth. It's easier when you're not having to talk about it and tell somebody about it. How it's all separated, and then you pull, and now you see how that just blends right in and looks like it was just knitted that way. I'm going to finish this. I will use a little bit of black when I get up here to the last 5 stitches on the chest right there. And then I am going to, because you already know how to mattress stitch, I'm going to mattress stitch up to the underarm, and then I'll come back and I'll show you stitching down the front side. We're only going to stitch down the front side here on both of these arms. Then we will flip it over and we have access to put our stuffing in to the arms. Then we stitch down the back side. But I'll show you as soon as I get back. Alrighty, I have finished under the arms. I have stitched down to the front right here. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and stuff the body all the way from the legs to the tummy up to the neck, and then go ahead and stuff the arms and shoulders. Then I will finish stitching this area right here closed. We're going to stuff this body. And I'm just taking regular polyfill stuffing. I'm loosening it up. I'm loosely stuffing all of the appendages. I don't stuff my toys hard because I like them to be soft and squishy and huggable. So at this point right now, I am going to take my needle and one of these strands that's just hanging out here that was used for sewing up the arms. And I'm going to thread it and run a gathering line. Set this little guy up. We're going to run a gathering line all the way around, just at this top edge, going every other column-ish. So skip that column, go to that column, skip, go to that one, skip, go to the next one. Try and stay relatively in the same row going around. Make sure that you go all the way across the front right here, or back, whichever one it ends up being. Keep going around. I'm going around in about the 4th row up from the white, 3rd or 4th row. Like that. Just going around. This is just going to make it a little bit easier when we're sewing the head on, like that. Now we can pull that in. And then I'm going to tie it off with that yarn that was sitting there. Just like that. And I'm going to sew the head on with white, since the part of the head that is going to show is the white part. Oh, look at that. Chubby little panda bear. All right, I think this is going to be the front. A little bit more of that black showing right here across the chest. So, show you how to do that ear. I need a little bit of black yarn. The way I'm doing the ear here, I'm just going to start right here. To sort of whip over that, just to hide that extra little white bit. Maybe go over it one more time. Now, the trick with this one is you are going to come around here. You're going to come to the front, or to the side that's facing you. Don't know if that's the front or the back yet. You're going to go across 2 legs of that right there. Then you're going to go to the other side, straight through, and you're going to come out and go across 2 legs right here. Then you're going to go back to the other side, and you're going to go across 2 legs right here, underneath. Then you're going to go back to the other side. See how we're doing this? It's going back and forth. We're basically making a little web of stitches on the inside. Kind of like when we stitch the top closed, but we're just going across 2 and then coming back up to the other side and going across 2 underneath there and back to the other side. See how we're just making this. We're joining between the ears. And then in just a minute, you will see the magic that happens. So we're here, go back through. Go under 2 legs of the stitches and back to the other side. Under 2 legs of stitches. Back to the other side. Now when I get down here to the end, I'll show you a little trick of what I'm going to do. Go under those two. We don't need that anymore. We need to get this pulled in. So what we'll be doing is we're going to go back to the first side. We're going to go under those stitches and come out the edge of the ear right here. And we're going to pull on all those stitches. We're going to gather it up. Now, I'm just going to run my needle back through all of the stitching, back to that first stitch. And now, when we pull, we've got that really cute little ear. Look at that. I'm going to tie this in a knot. Tie it in a knot. Then I'm going to just take this and thread it through and out the bottom. And we have this other piece here, and I'm just going to thread it through and as far through as it goes. Like that. And then just go down through the inside, get my needle out. There we go. I'm saying this is the back and this is the front. So cute. And you can do some of your extra little, mushing and squishing. I like that side. Needle right there. And then before we get too far, we're going to go like this, and we're going to say this is following the side under the ear, and this is following the side under the ear. I'm going to break it kind of into quarters, like that. And then this is going to be basically the center of one side and the center of another side. The color of the clips does not mean anything. I just happen to have a pile of them laying on my table, so I'm just grabbing. All right, I want to start in the front, so I'm going to bring this around to my front, just like that. These on the sides are going to line up over the shoulders. This in the front is going to line up pretty much with the center seam of the very front. And then we're going to go like this, and we're going to come up through. All right. Now what I'm going to do is come across one column, and then I'm going to come across one column, and I'm going to do that all the way around. So across one column, going underneath, oops, and then across a column on top, And now you might need to go around more than once to really get this firmed up as much as you want it to be. We'll see. But right now, I am just going to do this exact thing. I'm going across the column and across the column to link those sides together. And I'll meet you back here when I'm all the way around. Alrighty, I am going to finish off these little open bits right here, and I want to shove just a tiny bit more stuffing in, fill out that forward part of the shoulder. Just like that. That looks good. Now I'm going to take my needle and yarn, and I'm just going to do that same thing that I've been doing, which is pick up 2 legs of a column, and then pick up 2 legs of a column on the other side. So going back and forth, up and down. So 2 legs of a column that way. And I'm keeping the black all on the black. So I'm not stitching this black part down to the white of the body here. It's all staying up high. And I know it's a little bit harder to see because it's black yarn on, black yarn. Here we go. Look at this. It's all completely sealed. There's no open seams. There's nothing for anybody to get their little fingers caught on. Go ahead and trim that. It's double layered, so the stuffing is all safely and securely inside. At that, long skinny ovals, and you have the cutest little eye patches. And cut a little piece that's sort of shaped like a heart. And you would have the cutest little bear. Stitch it on with fine black thread or embroidery floss, making sure that all of the edges are stitched down. I might even put a little bit of fabric glue underneath first, and then stitch them down with just a needle and thread. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, stop by the comment section and say hi. This is a 20-inch tall doll done on the 46 needle circular knitting machine. You can do it with 48 needle also. And this is a 9-inch doll made exactly the same way with half the number of rounds for the body tubes and the head tube. And then it was done on the 22 needle circular knitting. There's the size comparison. If you make it on a 22 needle, it's about 9 inches tall. And when you make it on the 46 needle or 48 needle, it's around 20 inches tall. Thank you so much. Remember, go out, do something creative, take care of yourself, and be kind. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.